Good morning, everyone. My name is Olga Antonio. I work here at Weber State University coordinating the peer mentoring program under Access and Diversity. I am originally from Mexico. I was born in Piedras Negras, Coahuila, and then grew up in Texas, in Eagle Pass, little border town. So I identify as Mexican, Mexicana. I've also learned to use the word Hispanic or Latina.
Thank you, Olga. My name is George Valdez again, and I'm a social worker here at the Counseling and Psychological Services Center at Weber State. So in other words, I'm like a counselor, therapist. I was born and raised here in Ogden, Utah, and I identify as Chicano. My father is Mexican-American, and my mother is Caucasian-American. So I got a little bit of mixture when it comes to my ethnic background and the cultures that I've experienced, but one thing for certain is that I do take pride in my Latin blood, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. Hispanic, as Olga has referred to it as well. But I definitely think that us Latinx individuals have a unique flavor that we bring to the world. And that's why I'm excited to be here. With that being said, the topic today is about resilience. And Olga had a story for us, if you don't mind sharing that.
Yeah. So we wanted to share a little bit about what resilience is based on what we learned growing up or what our families have taught us, our cultures. And there's a couple of things. So I remember a story I read when I was in second grade in Mexico on our textbook. And it was a story of this turtle that was invited to go to a party. So she's taking her sweet time getting ready. I remember she put on her pearl necklace, put on some lipstick, and then started walking to the party. Of course, she's slow, it's taking forever. She gets to the location where the party is, and there's a whole bunch of stairs that she has to go up. So she starts going up step by step, and she's about to step on the last one, and she trips and falls all the way back down. I don't remember how the rest of the story ends, but I've always remembered that story as like, life gets hard. You can work so hard to get to where you want to go, and something may happen, right? When you're not going to get to where you wanted to go. But what do you do from there? That's what matters. What do you do in that moment? Connected to that are all of our dichos, right? That we hear when we're growing up, things like échale ganas, or si Dios quiere, or ponte las pilas, right? The things that are meant to keep us moving forward and not stuck where we are. So that's a little bit of where I think both my family and my upbringing, my education have taught me about resilience and what it means to keep going.
Thank you, Olga. And along with that story, one thing that I associate with the culture that I come from, again, I identify as Mexican-American, is our love for sports like boxing. In my household, boxing was something that we were obsessed with and we watched all the time. And one of the characteristics that I think that our people have is heart, and it is exemplified in the sport of boxing to continue to push forward regardless whatever it is that is thrown at you. And I can confidently say with you young students who are going to start college or who already have, that if you function from the heart and put your heart into what it is that you want to become, and you always listen to that, I think that regardless of whatever comes your way, you will be able to overcome it, just like the turtle in Olga's story. And along the way, yes, we're going to fall down those stairs, and there's going to be experiences that are going to be hard to overcome. But I promise you that you guys have the strength in order to overcome whatever does come your way. And we are here to support you as well. Staff like myself and Olga, that's what our job is. And we got your back to the fullest. And if needed, come on through to the Counseling and Psychological Services Center, and we can work on things. But I appreciate you all attending this conference. I think it is awesome that you are involved, and continue to be great.
We'll see you around.
Hey, Jody.
What's up?
So, Jody, this is like our third time meeting in person, but I feel like we go a long way back.
Yeah.
So, cuz, tell me, where'd you grow up?
Well, Eric, I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, on the south side.
Southside.
So I'm not from Utah. Yeah. So my family originated from Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and eventually they migrated here. In the Southwest, Arizona, and California. I grew up with two younger brothers and one older brother. My mother, she was our rock. She did all the teaching for us, and she made life possible for us. Living here in Utah, it has created some difficulties. It is somewhat cumbersome.
I can feel you. I can feel you on that. So, as it may not come to a shock, I'm not from here either. I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in Washington, D.C. On my dad's side, I'm a fifth generation native Washingtonian. That's actually something I take great pride in, but Washington. It was just me, my mom, dad, and a couple of pets along the way. So
Y'all had pets?
we did. I had a dog, and then another dog and a cat and some fish. Not all at one time, just randomly in between there.
We had roaches.
Okay. So Jody, I know you wanted to talk about two important ideas in the Black community. You wanted to talk about Aya and Sankofa. Pick one. Tell me what you got.
Right on. So I think I'm gonna talk about Sankofa.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So Sankofa, y'all, it stands for you must reach back to reclaim that which is lost in order to move forward. If we never made mistakes, we would remain stationary. Now, mistakes allow us to learn, and learning helps us shape character. We all have been here before, meaning that our forefathers and our foremothers have made the same mistakes that we have. However, we need to learn from them. Change and growth go hand in hand, and if we aren't learning, we aren't growing. And if we aren't growing, we aren't going anywhere. It's a process. 30 days make a habit, and according to Malcolm Gladwell, it takes 10,000 hours to become proficient. Wow. 10,000.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
So that's Sankofa. So I guess that means I'm going to talk about Aya, which is cool because I like it. You actually taught me this one. Aya stands for endurance and resourcefulness. It's represented by a fern, and the fern is a hardy plant that can grow in difficult places, much like we have been throughout our history and throughout the world. The fern symbol suggests that one has endured many adversities and outlasted much difficulty. Bad things happen to everyone. We all fall down, but it's about how we get back up, and that we get back up. We can look at life's trials in two ways. The first involves letting the hurt and disappointment overtake us and make us bitter people. Or we can look at them as an opportunity to improve, learn, grow, have a change of heart. So I know, I'm not going to ask, have you had an Aya or Sankofa moment? Because I know we all have. But tell us about one.
Oh, man. I have had many Aya moments growing up. As y'all know, just like my homegirl stated, Aya stands for endurance, resilience, and resourcefulness. I have been to the mountaintop and back. I have not only endured, but also overcome many obstacles. I have been a single father with 4 kids, homeless, and forgotten. However, I've always had goals, and I've always had a dream. Resilience defines me. This is greatly due to remembering where I come from. This is where Sankofa comes in.
Okay.
Sankofa is a part of the Aiken tradition, and it represents a diasporan phenomenon. That means go back and fetch it. Return to your past. Okay. And it's not taboo to go back and retrieve what you have forgotten or lost. So with that said, we need to remember these African sayings and hold them dear to us. We need to remember where we have come from, which includes all of our trials and tribulations. We have overcome so much as Black people, and yet we are still here educating ourselves. We did not come this far to get this far. In the words of W.E.B. Du Bois, In order for us to remember where we are going, we need to understand where we have been.
Right on. We are living in such an aya time. COVID has been a challenge to learning, working, and relationships. But this is just another thing in the long list of going through what you go through so that you can grow.
Right on, Erica. You're absolutely right. We've been through a lot, not just in the last 18 months, y'all, but in the last 400 years. But still, in the words of great Maya Angelou, we rise.
We rise because it's what we've always done. As people of the African diaspora, we've had challenges since leaving the continent by force or by choice. We have spread all over the globe and made our presence known. We are kings and queens, princes and princesses. We are equal. We are more than enough. In the U.S., many, but not all of us, descended from enslaved persons. Be clear about it. Not all of our ancestors were wrapped up in chattel slavery. There were those of us who were free and were doing the work of freeing others. We are lawyers and doctors and pilots and professors. We are also moms and dads and everyday workers. We are everything. We come in all shades and colors. We are.
We are.
So I'm going to stop now before this spark becomes a flame and ask you to remember that Aya and Sankofa are part of your legacy and no one can take them away if they live in your mind and in your heart and in your soul. I'm Erica Jackson Green, Gear Up counselor and teacher.
And I'm Jody Perkins, Access and Outreach Specialist and Master Student.
All right now. If no one told you that they love you today, we do.
We do. We love you. Peace.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
Good morning, Talofalava. Welcome to the 2021 Multicultural Youth Conference. My name is Lulu Famuilatu Peters. I'm a multicultural attention counselor here at Weber State University in the Center for Multicultural Excellence. This year's theme is Grow Through What You Go Through. Before I jump into my whole message and story, I want to be able to include the students from the Ohana Association, which is a student organization here at Weber State, which I advise.
Hi, my name is Stefan Wolfgram. I'm the Pacific Islander Student Senator here at Weber State. I'm full Tongan. My mom's from Tonga, my dad's from New Zealand. My family comes from Tongatapu, Vava'u, and Ha'apai. And growing up in a Tongan household, we didn't really talk about our mental health. And I think that growing up and becoming a college student, I've learned how to push through that and talk about mental health with advisors, and even my own family and even peers that are in my classes to help me push through that and be successful in college. One advice I would give to students wanting to enroll in college and attend college is to be good at scheduling the time and time managing.
My name is Seth Perkins and I'm a member of the Ohana Association. And one of the things in my family that we always keep in mind is that there's always going to be a light at the end of the tunnel whenever we're struggling. And so no matter what you're going through, there's always going to be better days. Like even on the rainy days, you know, we can't have rainbows without rain, right? And so keeping that in mind and always persevering until the end, like push through. You can always do it and always ask for help because there's so many resources on campus that you have access to that's able to point you in the right direction to help you steer away from those harder things. And just people to talk to as well, whether it be your academic advisor, whether it be your multicultural advisor or anything like that. Everybody here on campus is here to help you through whatever you're going through.
Hi, my name is Callie Oyama and I'm the Public Relations Specialist for TOA. So I grew up in a small town of Hilo, Hawaii, and I really loved every part about growing up there, but it was a little hard because there was limited opportunity education-wise to going to college. We did have colleges, but they were a little more expensive and they didn't always have the majors or the opportunities that you would get in the mainland. So I decided to travel to Utah and further my education there, and it really helped me kind of discover more about who I was and also like my journey as being someone who's educated. And also it really made me want to get my master's degree as well. So going away really helped me, I guess, overcome that barrier, but also it made me want to go back and also speak about these kind of opportunities to the people in Hawaii so that they could go and come back to further a community for the better. So I think that would be my story on how resilience plays a really big fact of education back in Hawaii, but also it's something that you can overcome for anybody.
All right, thank you to my students from the Ohana Association for sharing their thoughts and their messages with you. I have one additional student to introduce you to. This is my husband, my partner, who's a current student at Weber State University, and he'll introduce himself.
Hello everyone, I'm Al Peters, coming back to school after 20 years. I grew up in a Polynesian household as well, as you can see. My dad is from Suva, Fiji. My mom is from American Samoa. Aua was a village that she grew up in and where I was born. Came here to the United States from Samoa. I grew up in California, and from California I received a football scholarship to come play. And my experience with education in that spectrum or in that realm was all athletics. Didn't care what I took as long as I was eligible to play and kept the 2.0 GPA. Didn't have advisors to show me or steer me in the right direction. It was just only take this class, take that class. This one is required. So my advice and takeaway from all this would be to figure out and get with an advisor, just even whatever you want to do, or even have an interest in, is ask if there's a degree or an actual graduating platform for that, what you're interested in, because most likely there is. So yeah, I would suggest that you focus specifically and get with an advisor and just break down what you're interested in. Most likely there is a degree for that. So good luck, and I hope that you're all successful.
Thank you for sharing that. So just to tie it all together, with Stefan sharing, knowing the resources and services, managing your time when preparing that even now, as you guys start looking for colleges to start applying to, and then even with Seth Perkins sharing his message about staying the course, and then Callie about giving back. All those are definitely very, very important. And then also tying in Al's experience and message as far as connecting with an advisor and understanding the programs that are available in these institutions. All very, very helpful and useful as we think about resiliency in higher education and some of the common experiences shared amongst Pacific Islander students who do go to college. Long story short, just make sure that you understand that there are folks here in college, not just here at Weber State University, but in whatever college you choose to apply to. There are individuals there willing and passionate to make sure that you are successful. There are roadblocks and barriers that you may face. Some common ones that are specific to our Pacific Islander communities is we are very family oriented and finding balance to be able to support our families and fulfill the roles that we feel that we take on in our family dynamics. And being able to find individuals that understand the cultural components of being able to find balance in higher education is important. So stay the course, and when you get an opportunity to, give back. Remember where you came from. Understand that our names, our individual names, are tied to our lineage. We can pinpoint where a person is from and what family they come from, and their whole background based off of a name. And that speaks volumes, because when we graduate, essentially that's who we take with us across that stage when we get those degrees, is our ancestors. And when you get the opportunity, once you graduate from college, to go back and give to your grandparents and give thanks to your parents for paving the way, and then also setting an example for the new generation that is next in line to even take that step further and getting a master's degree or even a doctorate. But remember where you come from, and remember who you are, and know that there are people there in place for you, and are genuinely cared, who are concerned and genuinely passionate about seeing your success, and making sure you fulfill those goals, those academic goals. So again, my Lulu Famuilatu Peters, feel free to contact me if you're wanting help to be able to apply for college. And I'm more than willing to be able to connect you with the right individuals, but definitely take the advice and messages given to you by current college students, and wish you all the best and luck as you seek out these opportunities, these academic opportunities available to you. See ya. Go Weber.
Yad she Tashina Barbara Yanishia to Hana Nishna, but Ani Bashichin, Ashiha Dashache, Dolkin Lachini Dashanella, Akut Ad Dina Estana Nishna. Hi everyone, my name is Tashina Barber. My clans are Near the Water clan, born for the Folded Arms people. My maternal grandparents' clan is the Salt clan, and my maternal grandfather's clan is the Red House clan. This is how I am a Navajo woman. I am from the Diné Nation. I am a retention counselor here at Weber State University in the Center for Multicultural Excellence, where I also advise the Native American Student Association.
Hi, my name is Chanel Fat. My clans are Butani, Lok Adene, Deschini, Noda Datane Trachini. I was born for the Folded Arms clan, and my father is the Reed people. I'm full Navajo. I'm a student here at Weber State. This is my first year, and I'm a non-traditional student. And the way I identify myself is Navajo woman. Everyone always asks.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say...
So we were asked some questions, and the theme of this year's Multicultural Youth Conference is grow through what you go through. So we want to share a little bit more about our experience as Native women. Specifically, we both identify with the Navajo tribe, so kind of our experience and our growth, and trying to inspire you all as students who are looking to come to college.
So again, like I mentioned, I'm a non-traditional student, so obviously I didn't come right out of high school. I am married and I have kids of my own, but that did not stop me. There's a lot of help given, and especially being Native, there's a lot of help to us and a lot of scholarships to take advantage of. What gets me through the resilience part of it, I was a little nervous about starting school, being that I am older, but what I realize is I'm more mature and I know exactly what I want to do. And being born for Bitani, that woman side of me, I come from a very long line of strong women, so I have that very much of a go get 'em attitude and just get it done. So me identifying with Navajo, that helps me a lot here at Weber State. Definitely keep pushing forward, and I was unaware of how many doors could open up to me, but there's been so much, and the professors, the help that's here, that's offered constantly, it definitely helps me get through day to day, week by week, and just knowing that my dreams, my goals that I have at the end of this graduation year and stuff, that I'll get there.
That's really important. I really echo what Chanel has expressed about support here on campus. I know a lot of tribal nations do have a important sense to give back to their communities. So I'm here to encourage students to really go out for their dreams and their goals and aspirations while they're obtaining their college education, and really thinking about different ways, creative ways to give back to the community. Whether you are going back to your tribal nations or staying here in the city, there's definitely lots of work here where you can help communities, especially Native communities in the local area, to really help them through uplifting your community, right? So those are some things that I think of when we talk about resilience coming from a Native Indigenous perspective. I also think about the idea of hope. A lot of the times we talk about being hopeful, believing in ourselves, and this is where a lot of our resilience comes from. We come from a history of a lot of hardships that we've come through, and we remind ourselves that our ancestors are here, our ancestors are always with us, that we are currently constantly being watched over, and we do this for ourselves, of course, but it's always, we're always thinking about the how this impacts the larger community, and how we can give back, not just to like our children, but our elders, and anything that we can do for our communities. And again, we try to think of creative ways in how we can do that, whether it's here, if you stay within the urban setting, or if you decide to go home to wherever you call home. So that's some recommendations or some ideas of how we define resilience here within the space of Weber State, or even in the college setting. So we are here, we are a resource. I am here to help students on a one-on-one basis. We have students and peers who are here who can share their story with you, share their experience, and really help students find a sense of belonging, but also find others who look like them, who can encourage them to aspire to their goals.
And then one thing, talking about mentoring, like I said, this is my first year, and I've really appreciated all the mentoring that I have gotten, even from my peers. And I myself never thought that I would be a mentor to my peers, but I find myself constantly giving advice to a lot of my peers, even those who are non-native, and a lot of natives. Just sharing my life experiences, things that I've gone through, trials that I've overcome, and what inspires me to be here. And I notice they take a step back and they look at their situation and they're like, oh man, it's not that bad, I can get through this. So seeing that I have become a positive mentor to my peers, it's a really good feeling, and it also helps me, not just my self-confidence, but it also helps me get through the day like, oh, hey, I did a positive thing. I helped somebody else. I have other friends who are not in my same classes, but I see a lot of other natives around, and we'll talk for a little bit, but we're kind of all, let's get this done. And we tend to encourage one another like, oh, that's awesome. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. And just every now and then talk about home, where we come from, and how we do miss our families that are not here. But just reminding one another that we're there for each other, and that we can keep this going together.
Mm-hmm. And I think you bring up some really important topics about support, talking about creating a community, right? A community of support, a system of support. And that's really where a lot of our students find their resilience too, in creating that community and helping and uplifting one another through trying times, through their celebrations and everything that they do. I think it's really critical that we remind our students that we're here for you. There is support. There are resources. If you don't know it, you can ask someone like me, or like a peer like Chanel. And we are here to really uplift one another. And I think that is the definition of resilience when we talk about Indigenous peoples and communities. And I think all people, looking out how we can give give back, how we can support one another. We're very community oriented and thinking of like how we can help one another through succeeding and uplifting our community. So thank you for your time. I don't know if you have any final words.
No, that's it. Just, you can do it.
And good luck if
Good
you
luck.
have a wonderful time with the Multicultural Youth Conference. And if you have questions or comments or anything like that, you can always reach out to the program coordinators and get our contact information from our information. Thank you.
Hey guys, salamat for this opportunity to be able to do this with you. My name is Derek Tropia. I'm born and raised in the Philippines, and I had the greatest opportunity to be here in Utah and to be speaking with you. I am born and raised in the Philippines, full Filipino. I chose to move here. My parents are back in the Philippines, and it's a great opportunity for me to be standing here with you guys.
Awesome. Yeah. And like I said, my name is Brandon Flores. My mom is from the States. She's white, and my dad is straight from the Philippines. And so I'm a second generation here in the United States. My parents met in Hawaii at the BYU Hawaii back in the days, and I am the fruit of their labors. I grew up here in Utah, although I was born in Arizona, but Utah is my home. This is what I know. And I went to school here in Utah. I went to Weber State myself as a student, and now come full circle. I'm back here at Weber State as a director of the Gear Up program, a college access program, which many of you are a part of. I'm married. I got a beautiful wife. She's Tongan. And so that means my kids are a full-on mixed plate. I got 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. And so we're excited to be here with you today and to share a little bit about our thoughts on the topic of today's conversation, which is resiliency. And so I'll turn the time over to Roland, Derek, aka Derek, to share with you what he thought.
Thank you, Brandon. So what I think about this is that in my situation, I chose to move here. I could have easily have stayed in the Philippines. Like I could have easily just attended high school, college, and did my master's in the Philippines. But no, I chose to do it here in America because I thought of the opportunities and what it would bring to my future family. And I can see those opportunities bearing fruits now. I could remember my first time stepping into the American soil in Hawaii. Like he said, I also graduated from BYU Hawaii, and it was a great experience. And I feel that if I didn't come and seek the opportunity to be able to go to in Hawaii, I would just be in the Philippines where I couldn't have reached my full potential, I feel like. But my brother paved the way to be able to come here to America in a student visa, and because of that knowledge of him doing that, he was able to impart that knowledge to me as well. And right now we are 5 siblings, and 4 of us have studied in BYU Hawaii, and that tells so much about resilience. Like I feel like the word resilience in my life is based on seizing opportunities, like not because an opportunity is literally on the other side of the planet. It doesn't mean that you can't reach that. In our case, we did exactly just that. We thought of a place where we could build a better life, and we actively pursued it. We of course we were scared that it's more than 13-14 hours away from the Philippines by plane, but we were thinking of the long term. Yes, it might be sad. Yes, we might get lonely or homesick, but that will be just a few weeks as compared to the fruits that it will give us in a lot of years to come. So I really think that us not being able to live fully in America gives us more opportunities to explore what else is around us. In your case, maybe you could think of opportunities on the other side of the planet. Maybe you're thinking of opportunities in the Philippines or maybe in other parts of Asia. What I could say with that is you can go and do it. You can actively do it. And not just because my parents had to go to America or my parents had to go to somewhere else, but you can actually choose what you want to become. In our case, 4 of us did that. And I don't think I could live any other version of myself besides that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Maraming salamat sa iyo,
Yeah.
kapatid. So a little bit about my story. You'll hear more from me later today, but you know, when I think of resiliency in my personal life, you know, like each of you, life has been full of ups and downs, back and forth, zigzags, and obstacles along the way. And along my journey, my personal journey, I've encountered many of my own obstacles, including my parents getting divorced when I was 5 years old. I've encountered death of loved ones. My stepdad, when I was in junior high, was locked up and he got sent to prison. And so for a big part of my life, I was raised in a single parent household by my mom, who was a teacher. And so she didn't get paid a lot. But also during that time, I experienced firsthand bullying and what that's like. I experienced racism, not just from peers, but I experienced racism from principals, from people in the community who I should be looking up to. So those were difficult obstacles in my life, right? But I also experienced challenges from my own bad decisions as a youth. And then there's sickness, there's health, there's all those other things that we all experience. But along the way and in the journey, I've also encountered forgiveness, friendship, fun, love, health, and so much more. So there's never sweetness, without the bitterness. We can't know the joys that life truly has to offer without going through a little bit of hardship as well, because that's how we grow, right? And so as I look back on my life and I try to think about what has helped me get through the difficult times, what's helped me to continue to push ahead and to grow in the process, that has so much to do with a lot of things, and it's hard to narrow it down. But the first thing that came to my mind is the thing that's helped me push through is my relationships and my community. And it starts with my mom and my family members. But it's not all family. I want to put that out there too, because not all family is gonna seek your best interest or have your best interest in mind. But cling on to the ones who do. And then it's also been, as it relates to relationships and community, seeking out positive friendships, seeking out positive role models. That means sometimes having to let go of friendships and people who are trying to drag you down or keep you down. And then additionally, leaders who cared about me and showed it. Those are the coaches and the teachers and the church leaders who had a strong influence in my life. But I've also been able to get through because of experiences that I've had, both the good and the bad. Like I said, you can't know the sweetness without knowing the bitterness. And so those have been the experiences that I've had on the sports teams that I've been on. It's been traveling the world, which has helped broaden my perspective. When I was a teenager, I got a chance to visit the Philippines, and also again as a young adult, and that dramatically shifted my worldview and how I saw myself and how I identified. It's also been through service, and the service that we give and the service that I've received. I've been able to get through the hardships by coming to know my own worth, and also my potential, and striving to reach that potential. And then really just working on myself from the inside out, knowing my goals, keeping my focus in mind, and really getting through. So this is just a short, quick message. And today we want to end our message to you by sharing a little story about a man named Larry Itliong. He was a Filipino leader back in the grape strikes in California during the time when farm workers were trying to seek greater equality. We often hear the names Cesar Chavez or Dolores Huertas. The Filipino community and the Mexican communities during this time really came together as a show of resiliency to get through these difficult times of oppression as a community. And at the end of all of their meetings, they did a thing called Isang Bagsak, which has its roots in the Philippines. And so it's a simile to like our lives. You know, when we try to come together and we're trying to get through things together, it's not always easy. It may start slow, but as we continue to push forward, we come together, and then we reach our goals, and we end strong, we finish strong together. Isang Bagsak means one down. And so we start out, and I wanted to invite all of you to join in with me by clapping your hands. We start out by clapping, and we'll get faster. And then when I say Isang Bagsak, then we all clap once together, and then we end. So you ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. Isang Bagsak! Thank you all. Maraming salamat and ingat.
Salamat.